All right, do we have sound now? Mic check, we got it? We should have sound now. Okay, good. I was trying something out, you guys. Me and this technology stuff is just we battle all the time. But all right. So digging up the Carolinas, how you doing, buddy? So yeah, we got that figured out. I was gonna try a different mic tonight and see if we can get things a little clearer, I guess, sound better. But we're gonna let that wait for tonight because I'm not gonna deal with that. But anyway, Frank's Fly Traps, how you doing? Scott LeClaire, Iffy Signals, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you guys. Everybody's popping in. Hey, send out those invites, you guys. Let's get some people in here and see if we can have us a good live stream. Live stream going here. We got Alan Pfeiffer from Oklahoma. Good to see you, buddy. Busy Digging Brian, Jerry Sumter. All right. If I've missed anybody here, you guys, please forgive me. Chat's rolling through and you guys write too speedy. You see, I read slow and you type too fast. So when you type fast, I can't read fast, so it doesn't work. So you have to type slow so I can read it. See how that works? Greetings from New York. How you doing? And Piedmont Artifacts. You guys, today, well, first of all, let me just say that Idaho right now is cold. And I needed to make some video today. I was going to do some recording. So I decided that I was going to do a video on some ground balancing stuff. And in order to do that, I needed to go outside. So I ended up going out there. It was single digits and it was cold. The wind was blowing and oh man, I'm chilled right now just thinking about it. But I was out there for probably, I must have been out there for 45 minutes or something like that. And I think I'm still trying to thaw out a little bit. But anyway, see what I do for you guys? Trying to make some video to help you out there out in the freezing cold, you guys. I enjoy it. Will Roberts, how you doing, buddy? Will Roberts made my my leather sheath for my pinpointer and my digger. So he does excellent work. If you guys need any leather work done as far as your pinpointer sheaths and stuff like that, hit up Will Roberts. He's really good at what he does. We got Tab in here. Let's see. That's how Radar wrote to his mom. Slow because he read slow. That's right. That's exactly right. So, oh, who do we got here? Okay, Scott LeClaire says it's 70 degrees in North Carolina. All right, Scott, go sit in the corner now. You and I need to have us a little talk. So, got 40s. Oh, sunny mid 40s in southern Idaho. That's doing a little better. It's supposed to be like 40 degrees as a high, possibly tomorrow. We'll see. I'll be looking forward to it if it does. But anyway, you guys, Dan mentioned you'd help me on the Knox 900. Yes, I will. Relic recovery specialist. Yeah, you bet. If you need some help on the Equinox or something like that, feel free to. The best way, you guys, is if you go to if you're on Facebook and you go to Sodbusters Metal Detecting Facebook group, you can send me a private message through that, and then we can discuss whatever issues that you may have as far as or whatever you might not understand or something like that with your Equinox. So yeah, you bet. Anytime. Okay, let's see here. All right, everybody's got warmer weather than me, so I'm coming to visit you guys. But on the coffee. Speaking of coffee, you guys, I'm going to share something with you. And if this is just if you want to. But if you are inclined to help with the channel at all, let me see here. Okay, I have a link right down there in the bottom in the chat. And if you guys want, you can buy me a coffee there if you appreciate my content or whatever. I do appreciate those. Last week, I had a few people help contribute to the channel there, and it's surely appreciated. So anyway, let's see what we can get going here. First off, I want to put out there, if anybody has any questions about the Equinox or metal detecting, or getting permissions, finding properties to go metal detecting and stuff like that, feel free to type those in the chat, and we can start some discussion about that stuff. And let's see, 11 degrees up in Maine. Yeah, that's not much better than what we're doing here. So, all right. And then I'm also going to put a link down here in the chat. If somebody has any interesting metal detecting topics or something that you'd like to discuss, feel free to, if you've got a special find that you're proud of and you want to share with others or something like that, feel free to hit that link right there, and I'll bring you on live. And the only thing I ask is that if you come on live, is that we keep the language good, and we don't, we're not smoking or anything else on here. I do try to keep this channel family friendly for children and everybody else, even though most of the time we don't have children on here, but I do want to keep it clean just in case, because this is a family friendly hobby all the way around. Speaking of that, how many of you seen the video that I put out this morning? I did a video about keeping, that's right, no politics either. Don't want none of that. I put out a video this morning talking about basically people that are getting discouraged in the hobby because of things that we've been seeing on YouTube lately. There's a lot of people complicating things in the hobby, and the metal detecting can become a complicated subject if you let it. There are things that you can really dive deep into as far as metal detectors and settings and stuff like that. The problem is as beginners, when they hear stuff like this and people bantering back and forth saying who's got the best metal detector, and if you don't buy the $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 metal detector, you might as well just give it up, because you're not going to find anything, because all these other guys have these kind of metal detectors, and you'll just be throwing the hobby out the window by buying anything less than that. And that is very far from true, you guys. There is good stuff out there. There's I will say this, I don't know of a detector that does it all. I think I mentioned that last week on the live stream. You can have I'll say the debatable best detector in the world. It may be one of the better detectors out there, but if you don't get over the target, you're not going to find it. Okay. And like I did state I'm still a child. Yeah, I am too, Will. But there's been literally kids that bought a really cheap, or their parents bought them a really cheap metal detector. They bought something that they didn't understand what they were buying in the beginning. They just thought, well, this looks like a really cool hobby. I think my child would enjoy it, and this isn't too expensive. I'll buy this $70 detector. and they pick it up, and just out of pure luck is what I'm guessing. These kids may go out there, whoever it is, go out, and all of a sudden they get a signal. And of course, as a beginner, all the loud signals, the louder the signal, the better the target. It just has to be. Bigger signal means bigger treasure, right? I don't mean that, but as newbies, I know I thought that way when I started. Like, oh, that's loud. That's really loud. That's got to be good. And so you dig up a piece of somebody's roof, that their house fell down about 10 years ago. But you learn over time. But in not a lot of cases, but in some cases, there's been people that take a very cheap detector, have absolutely zero experience, go out there just listening for any kind of noise with that detector, dig down and find something that is just absolutely awesome. Things that make me jealous. I've been detecting for years, and you read these stories about somebody, went out. As a matter of fact, I've got a story of somebody local. This was, I don't know how many years ago. It was before I even lived in this part of the country, but somebody bought a metal detector, and they, I guess, were not experienced, but they went out and they were metal detecting around this shed. And this was here on the reservation where I live. Well, I don't live on the reservation anymore, but I did. But there on the reservation, they were metal detecting around this old shed, and they got a signal and they dug down. And what they found was a really deteriorated and disintegrating bear hide. And what was wrapped in the bear hide was a bunch of silver coins from the 1800s, old silver coins. And a lot of them had some really good value. I guess there were key dates in there and all kinds of stuff. And there was also the bones of a child, which happened to be Native American bones. That was, I guess the guy took and paid for his detector, bought a new truck, and did quite well from his find there. I have mixed feelings about how that came about, as far as how that was wrapped, because a lot of times some treasures are left with the deceased, So it's kind of weird. It wasn't in a known burial site or anything like that, so it wasn't an intentional thing. He wasn't grave digging, but still, it was just by chance. And to find something like that, it was definitely a Native American. That was a gift buried with a child. So anyhow, this can happen to anybody. You just never know what you get across. And it doesn't take the best metal detector in the world. It doesn't take the most knowledge in the world either. You guys can do this. You can just go and enjoy the hobby and not worry about so much technical stuff. You don't have to. Learn it as you go. And if you want to improve your skills in metal detecting, you do that at your pace. You can watch videos on YouTube. Be careful of what videos you watch, because there is false information out there, just like there isn't anything else. So try to research what is true and what is not. It may take a little bit in some of that, but anyway, you guys, I want you to enjoy this hobby. I don't want anybody to get discouraged in this, because as far as I'm concerned, this is about the best hobby I could ever think of. It's good for your kids. You can get them off of a phone. You can get them outdoors in the sunshine. Get them doing something other than sitting in the house behind that little screen, playing on TikTok or whatever they do. That's not healthy, in my opinion. So metal detecting is good for a lot of, pretty much all ages. and I highly recommend it. So don't let the noise, what I call it, the noise of YouTube, people bantering back and forth, complicating metal detectors and making it sound like you need a college degree to go out there and find some goodies. You can do this the very first day you buy a metal detector. You get that metal detector as soon as it's charged up. You can put in a preset program that the company has already put there for you. You know, depending on the detector. Not all detectors will have that. And then get out there and start playing with it. Start experimenting. You may not understand it. You may not know what you're doing at all. You can start asking questions. Come on over to Sodbusters Metal Detecting on Facebook. I'll help you out with whatever I can. But I want you guys to enjoy this. Don't let people discourage you from this hobby, because it is a great hobby. So anyway, all right. Blah, 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 right? All right, let's keep going here. I'm missing a bunch of comments, you guys. Let's see. Still have to go over the target, high end or low end. That's right. And, you know, you never know. I don't care how much experience you have. Ultimately, you're not going to know what the target is until you dig it up, whether it's a high number, a low number. The higher the number doesn't necessarily mean, oh, hey, we got Iffy in here. Hang on just a second. Hey, Iffy, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you? I got to
I'm
stop
alive.
that echo.
What's that?
I got to stop that echo.
Oh, do you got YouTube on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how's you got your beanie on? Is it cold where you're at?
Yeah.
Oh, so anyway. I like your background there. You got iffy signal sign back there. Did you have that made, or?
Yeah, I had that made.
That's cool. I like it. Yeah, you can hear the delay on YouTube back there. It seems like StreamYard and YouTube run on different time zones.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
Not at all. But so you guys, most of you, I'm guessing, would probably know Iffy Signals. He tests metal detectors and stuff, and he's been running the Manticore and the 900, right? Right, Iffy, you're running the 900 as well, aren't you? He tests metal detectors and stuff, and he's been running the Manticore and the 900, right? Right, Iffy, you're running the 900 as well, aren't you? He tests metal detectors and stuff, and he's been running the
I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know if you can hear me right now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
But YouTube is definitely delayed.
Yeah. Probably the best bet is to. Are you on StreamYard at all?
Oh, hold on a second. I got you. I got you, Larry. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I had YouTube going in the background. Yeah, no more delay.
Okay, perfect. So,
Let's see if
I was just telling people that you were testing both the Manticore and the 900. Is that correct?
Yeah, yep, correct. I have I was part of both projects. Yep. Hey, Will. Metal detecting northeastern Wisconsin. Yeah, it's cold here, Larry. It's single digits tonight.
Yeah, I was out there playing with ground balance today, doing some video on ground balancing and stuff, and I was out there in the single digits. My ears were hurting, my nose was hurting. Yeah. Everything was hurting.
Yeah.
So,
what have you been playing with, the 900?
Yeah, I got the 900 here and been messing with it. The only problem is right now with these cold temperatures, the ground is literally solid. It's just so there's no way to dig a plug.
Yeah, I've been able to hunt, but single digits tonight. I don't know if I'll be able to get out tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm sure another of you guys know the Hunter G. He bought a $70 bounty hunter and found a gold ring. He was hooked. Yeah, I mean, you can. It like I say, you have to get over the target, and sometimes you may not have that detector set up the way that is supposed to be set, but if you're over the right target, the right situation, in the right direction with the right swing speed and everything else, who knows what it may be. There's been people find some awesome treasures out there that way.
Yeah, definitely. Wisconsin. Yeah, I know John, the Hunter GT. He's been out of it right now, not feeling too good. I think he's out of the hobby, but he still does his live streams. I like John. He's cool. I talk to him on the phone all the time.
Uh-huh.
Any
Who
news on
is
the
that?
Manticore update? That he's talking about the Hunter GT.
Hunter GT?
Yeah, yep. He did a lot of testing and comparing open box stuff too in the past. A lot of he's got a pretty famous video there, the Land Ranger Pro versus the Garrett AT Pro or the Ace 400 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Any news on the Manticore update for the iron disc issue some are having? No, Oklahoma. I know they're working on it, but I haven't heard any news on a particular date. And listen, I know there are videos out there that just posted about people saying there's no issue. Lower your sensitivity. There's no issue. Um, they're working on it. There's
You guys, there's a lot of stuff being said out there that's really
KeyDate Kid, what are you doing? My boy Casey. I'm using his
he's on
new
here, huh?
40-inch
Casey.
shovel he sent me. Yes, the
Did you see
40-inch
the
Casey
picture?
is awesome.
Casey posted a picture on Facebook today of his hands. He's been so stinking busy making shovels. His hands are bleeding and cracked, and they look like he dipped them in acid or something. I don't know. He's been working hard. I know he's putting in like 14, 15-hour days or something like that. But
I think he said he pulls out 4 or 5 shovels a day he's building. So
yeah,
any
that
news on
last
the
time I
higher
talked to him, he
shipments
was
of
a little
Manticore?
behind.
No, Busy Brian, I'm surprised at how this rollout went, to be honest with you. And I don't talk to any salespeople or anything like that. I only know engineers, so I'm not sure what's going on with the delay. But I know a lot of the small dealers are really upset about it. Mine in particular is Andy, and he's shocked by the amount of metal detectors that are being sent to the big box stores and not to the small dealers. So I'm not sure what the holdup is. I hope it picks up for everyone. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It is a slow rollout. I hear that the manufacturers are having a hard time keeping up or not being able to produce as fast as they need to. I'm having lighting trouble here. So yeah, it's hard to say how that's all going to pan out.
Yeah,
But
hopefully they stop flowing in. I know a lot of people that canceled their orders with small dealers and went with like Cabela's because Cabela's and Bass Pro had them, in stock. And
yeah,
I know that, they're not able to offer a deal like our dealers can, but most of the time I would say stay away from that and go with a local dealer because local dealers can't put on their site what they can sell them for. But if you get one on the phone, that's when you can find out what package deal or what deal that they can give you, on
well, and
this.
like I say too, if you buy from a big box store, are you able to call somebody at that big box store if you have a question about a metal detector? I can guarantee you almost probably 99% of the time, whoever sold you the metal detector from the big box store is not going to have a clue about that thing.
Yep.
The Your dealers are the ones that familiarize themselves with the products. They may not know everything, uh, but they can sure get you off in the right direction. It just depends on the dealer. Some of them are very well informed. But I can guarantee you, in most cases, the big box store is not going to have that kind of information for you.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so, if you want support after the sale, use your local dealer. Don't go with a big box store. It's not going to benefit you.
Yeah. A
So,
lot of time they'll have them earlier, but it's after the fact support. But I mean, even local dealers, and I don't know, how many do it, but usually after you buy something from whether it's a MINELAB machine or an Equinox. I mean, sorry, a Deus 2. Usually after you buy that, you have to work with XP on MINELAB anyway. I don't think there's much that the smaller dealers can do for you, in my experience anyway. But when you get involved with a big box store, I mean, once you leave, that's it. They're done. They're not going
Mhm.
to help you with settings or anything like that. So then you're really
Right.
going to YouTube for whatever you would need, or
Right.
watching
Yeah, you want
videos.
that experience behind your, whoever's selling you that metal detector, you want their experience. You want them to be an experienced user about the product that you're buying.
Yep.
So I know I talk with Dan at Outlaw Metal Detectors, pretty much daily, and I've learned a lot of things from him as well. He's got experience in a lot of different things, especially for like batteries and I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff that he uses languages and stuff that I try to wrap my head around, but that's that's not saying much. My head don't wrap around much, but
Yeah, I actually
wrapped it
have
around a pole a time or two.
I have the new batteries over here somewhere if anyone's curious. So the new batteries, I know I made that video about swapping out the Manticore batteries, but they are newer size, and they have larger capacity. So they're 3.7 volts with 5,000 mAh. I think this one is 18.5 watts, and I might have a different one too. I don't remember if that one was the exact size. But I mean, these are easy to take out and replace on the 900 and the Manticore.
Uh-huh.
I haven't tried taking apart the Deus 2 yet, but I had a couple of prototypes for the Manticore 900 that I was able to rip into,
Right.
that they didn't care if I took them apart. But yeah, they're more they're wider than the other ones. They take a while to charge. These take about 7 hours to charge on the Manticore.
Mm-hmm.
So
So tell me, like myself, I go out there when I head for a ghost town or something like that. I spend a minimum of 10 hours out there hunting. And what's the battery life that you're seeing like with the Manticore?
Oh, I've never gone through a full battery in a day, but I'm not really someone who goes out and hunts 10 hours at a time either. The
Mm-hmm.
last few weeks I've done maybe like 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday and Sunday, but I haven't stuck with one. One day I'll go out with the Deus 2, one day I'll go out with the Manticore or the 900.
Mm-hmm.
And usually after about 5 hours, you have half a battery left on the Manticore. And
Okay.
that's in general. If you use high conductor, you'll go through faster.
Right.
It's pumping a lower frequency.
Well, I heard that the Power Knox was discontinued. Um,
What's that?
the Power Knox was an external
Oh,
battery
yeah,
that you
yeah.
could use
I
for
remember that.
the Equinox and stuff, and I guess I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but I heard that that was discontinued, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I never had one of those, but you can use any external battery pack and plug it in, and
Yeah,
Velcro it behind your arm cuff, or on the shaft or whatever, and get a lot more time out of it.
you
Just have
bet.
to have the magnet on there. Ify, what do you think about the talk about the stock headphones? Yeah, Alan, I don't know. I asked them if there was going to ever be a module or anything, and I guess everything is possible, but um I mean, I've heard some guys go out there in rain and they break on them, so yeah, that's not good. And they're proprietary now, so you can either plug in a hard line, or you use those 105s or 85s. So the
Hmm.
105s and 85s are both compatible with the new faster proprietary audio. So you can use the 900, the 700, the 900 headphones on the Manticore, or the Manticore headphones on the 700, 900.
Yeah. All right. So I, I bought the XP Deus 2 beginning last year and love it. Battery life is great, and so is the preset settings. I still take my MINELAB Equinox 800 as well. Both machines do great for me. There's a lot of good machines out. There definitely is. There's some really good ones out there right now.
My dealer feels so bad about the Manticore pre-order. Yeah, man. I mean, all these dealers do. A lot of dealers, I know in particular that my dealer would only take a $50 pre-order for the Manticore, with any machine usually until he ships them out, and then you pay full price. And he is refunding that to people that want to buy a big box because he just
Yeah.
feels bad for them too,
Yeah, that's something, Dan over at Outlaw, he decided not to take any monetary pre-orders. Um, he decided to wait until he had them in stock, which at this point that seems to be like that was a good move. But because there has been a lot of situations where people are either tired of waiting or they're thinking they can get theirs quicker somewhere else
Yep.
or go to a big box store, and that doesn't always work out for them either. So
Yep. Zeke,
because
you went with
they're
the
running
Deus
out
2.
too.
The Deus 2 and the Manticore. I mean, I have side by side tested those things for months, and they are right there with each other. Even before release, they are right there. And if I saw anything that one did better than the other, I made sure I reported it. They are really close to each other. I like the Deus 2 with the 9-inch coil because I do a lot of woods hunting and I got to hike. But that Manticore with the screen and the Manticore audio options definitely, you know, smoke the Deus 2 with how many different audio options that they have on there. But for the Deus 2, I hunt and pitch, so I'm either hearing, because I relic hunt with the Deus too, I'm either hearing an iron tone or everything else is good, and I have pitch jacked up to 603, so it just stops you right in your tracks. You know it's a good target. But the Manticore, I do like the 5 tones and the audio for it, and now it has that enhanced tone, so when you're really deep too and shallow, and it's got so
Yeah,
many tone options. That one region all tone and general comes from the factory in 2 regional tones. I like switching it back to one, and it's just a gradual change in pitch for every single VDI. It's really sounds good.
yeah, yeah. I'd like that. You know, I wish that the Equinox 800 had the I can't even think of the name for it now, but it's basically that uh, audio that you're talking, the enhanced audio where
Modulation, yeah,
modulation, that's the word I'm looking for, modulation. And you can actually, the deeper the target, it starts to get silent. You're listening for those silent, just, whispers out there that say, oh, yeah, that's a deep target.
yep,
But
yeah. That's something that we really didn't have on the 800. Well, we didn't have it at all on the 800 or the
uh,
600. The Deus has always had that with audio response. So you can, if you want to dig just shallow targets or deep targets, you can change the audio response basically so you won't even hear deep targets if you really lower it down.
yeah,
Joe got his MINELAB 900, the 2D ID. Yeah, Hog, the 2D screen is really cool. But anything commingled is going to mess with that screen. And the other thing is that you will hear everything. You will see everything on the screen that's in the ground. Even if it's faint in your ears, it'll be a faint dot. So when you're hunting iron, you look at that screen, it's like, wow, there's so much going on in this ground right here. So it's definitely, yeah, it's cool to have too. I like the feature of the 2D screen.
yeah, that's going to give you a lot more information. It may be kind of overwhelming until you get used to it. I'm imagining because a lot of the sites that I hunt have lots of iron. They are just iron fields, and really, I had somebody comment on a video that I put out here recently about depth or hunting trashy areas or something like that. I can't remember exactly which video it was, but the settings that I was talking about for trashy ground is settings that you're actually not shooting for depth, because you have that iron field right there. It's really hard to try and get depth to hear good signals. You need more separation in a situation like that than you do the depth.
Yeah.
And somebody told me, well, because of those settings, you're sure losing a lot of depth. It doesn't matter. When you're in the iron like that, you're not going to get deep anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your settings are.
When I'm hunting cellar holes, everything is usually within 2 to 4 inches anyway. You rarely are digging anything deep on cellar hole relic sites, but And any, I mean, if you're going for depth these days, every machine has got it. You know, all these new machines, a lot of people ask me which one's deeper. The Manticore has the Deus 2 by just a little bit, and that's if you can run it that high. That they give you so much. They give you up to a level sensitivity of what, 30 something on the Manticore, and it's got the punch. It's you know, where can you use it? It's got to be really EMI free. But even at those low levels of 17 and 20, that coil is impressive. It's got some punch to it. But all these
Yeah.
machines are deep. The Deus 2 with the 9-inch coil is really a deep machine too.
Hmm. I don't have a lot. I've been looking at the original Deus, the Deus one. Just kind of looking at that briefly here, but I don't have any real experience with the Deus at all. Um, I plan on taking one out to just see what that's about here as soon as the ground allows it. But
Oh, Joe just asked a good question. Which machine, Joe? Because you can do that on the Equinox 900, you can do that on the Manticore, and you can do it on the Deus 2. Right now, you can't do it on the Legend. I've provided that feedback, but that's the new machines out. You can set them to ignore large iron. You're gonna hurt separation, but if you're sick of digging large iron, you can do that. And the 900 is really impressive, where it does it on a pretty low FE setting of FE4. And you still have pretty good separation, and it will knock out that big iron if you're sick of digging it.
yeah, you got to be careful with those settings because you can sacrifice at the same time. If you're trying to knock out all iron, you're going to be knocking out some other targets as well. So,
Yeah, you're gonna mask too. But
yep.
you know, I've been on sites where I have a short period of time and I don't want to dig great sounding iron, and I'll put that FE at 4. The Manticore does it great right out of the box, where that lower ferrous limits where it's set will pretty much ignore most big iron. But a buddy of mine who's got the Legend, we were out last week and he was just digging hose and horseshoes, and they sounded so good. And I'm going over with the Deus too, and I'm like, "That's iron, man." And he's just got aggravated. He actually has a Manticore ordered, but it's taken a while to come in. He ordered it like 3 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you find that out of the box with that factory setting, with the Ferris limits, is it masking?
No, no.
So you're knocking out most of your iron, but still picking up the good signals there, huh?
Yeah, Piper, I do it. That's the name of the channel, Iffy Signals. Yep. But that general, you know, that's the funny thing that MineLab does different than the Deus 2. And anyone who has the Deus 2 knows that you don't just leave the Deus 2 in general and expect a superior machine. You go in and tweak that to whatever you like. They leave general kind of tame, you know, so you get used to the machine. Where the Manticore general program is unbelievable. You don't I've done a lot of testing with general compared to deep high conductor. I did some testing this past weekend where I had a dime down 10 inches, which is very deep for my soil, and I had the sensitivity up to about 22, 23, and general was hitting it as well as deep high conductor. So I was actually talking with them and getting a better understanding on the two programs. But out of the
Mhm.
box, the Manticore in general is unbelievable.
Eric says they have some good tutorials coming out of Europe for the 900 and the Manticore. One thing I will say is this is something I was thinking about today because I see the question all the time. I mean, on a daily basis. Hey, what's the best settings for the Equinox 800? Because I'm going to hunt a field. Well, there's so many variables in that, you guys. There is no best setting across the board. It really has to be for your situation, where you're at, what the ground conditions are, what your EMI is like, and everything else.
Yeah, how
There's
much
too many
trash is in the
variables.
ground. I mean, if it's a clean field, you can
Yeah,
crank that sensitivity up and go digging foot deep
yeah,
targets. But if it's
yeah.
a
You can
trashy
open it
field,
up in a
it'll just
clean.
drive you crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
If you have some place where there's not EMI bothering you, and it's a clean field and stuff like that, not a lot of mineralization stuff, you can really open them up and do
Yeah.
well. But
Yep.
every situation's different. And in the UK, I know that their situation, their ground and everything is different than what we have over here too. So every
Yeah, Alan, that's right.
situation
Yep.
is different.
Kind of like which lure. Yep. But I mean, the Manticore is, is brand new. I'm sure there'll be plenty of updates coming. There's a lot that they can do with that machine, and it's an exciting time to be in this hobby with the 900 Deus 2 Manticore. The Manticore and the Deus 2 being pretty new at the same time only benefits us as end users, because I mean they're going to be pumping out updates to just keep up with each other, so it's
Right.
going to be good.
Right.
I really like them both. I mean, I really like the 900. The 900 is awesome.
Yeah, I just wish that I could get some ground that I could dig. I went out, let's see, it was about 2 weeks ago now. I was going to try it. I figured the ground was still partially frozen, but I went to an old 1870s homestead. And when I got out of the truck, the first thing I did is took my Excalibur and went chink. I mean, it sounded like I was hitting a block of ice.
Yep.
So I started hunting around. I got into some brushy areas, and I got into some tall grass on a south-facing slope, and was finally able to find ground that I could dig. And the very first target I dug with that 900 was a 1925 Buffalo nickel. So that made me happy.
Yeah. I mean, the 900 is great too, that all the other coils fit them. So if you have the Coil Tech coil or the 6-inch coil, they'll all work with the Manticore. Is going to have the 8.5-inch coil and the 15-inch coil coming. Those will be awesome as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you bet. The 800's a great machine, Beach Reaper.
Go on eBay and get those things for like $500 right now. That's a steal for an 800.
Yeah, some people are selling their machines so they could upgrade to other machines and stuff like that. But that is a very good machine. I've used my 800 for 4.5 years or something like that, and it's done very well for me.
Yep. I mean, I liked the 800. Before I had the 800, I had the Deus 1, and I didn't click with the Deus 1 at all. I dug a lot of nails, and my ears couldn't click with it. So
Mm-hmm.
I sold it when I got the Equinox 800, and then I was pretty strictly Equinox 800 for a couple of years before the Deus 2. So the Deus 2 is really, I really like the Deus 2. Plus, I mean, I dive too, so diving is really good. You can go down 60 feet with the Deus too.
Oh yeah, 66 feet on that, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy.
The bone conduction headphones will blow your ears off underwater too. Last year I did some diving with I mean, it's any machine, right? It's any machine where you have the over-the-ear headphones. When water gets under them, it's tough to hear through your regulator and sound. So you find yourself kind of breathing, holding your breath, and they're like, "Is that a tone?" And you hold your breath some more and breathe in and out. And but man, with the bone conduction headphones, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
Iffy, do you know much about the Xterra Pro? Yeah, I got one.
Did you?
Yeah, I've had that for a while too. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be it's a single frequency selectable machine. It was funny when I had no idea those videos popped up online, and I was reading the comments and people were like, it's spam, it's fake, it's China, it's fake, and I was like, I just have to sit back, and I can't get involved. But
Sure.
Iffy,
Yeah,
did you
I'm
dunk the
sure you got
Manticore to check? Yeah, I dunked. I left my Manticore in the tub when I got my second one. So the first prototype, which was waterproof, when I got the second one in, I left the first one in the tub overnight, and it didn't leak.
Yep.
Didn't leak. I
That's
wasn't doing
recommended, you
that.
guys. I'll tell you right now, for anybody buying a new metal detector, I don't care what brand it is or anything else. If it's claimed to be a waterproof metal detector, that is the thing to do right there. While it's under warranty, fill up your bathtub, put that metal detector in there, and test it out. Make sure you do this before your warranty runs out, because otherwise you could be in trouble. So test it
Yeah.
out. Test out the claims and everything else. Make sure that you have a good machine. And if you're under warranty, then you're good to go. If something happens for some reason, then you claim your warranty on it.
Yeah, I was too nervous to do it with the first prototype just because I wouldn't be able to test. I mean, it's not that bad of shipping, but if it did drown, it would be a little over a week before they could get me another one to continue testing. But when the second one got here, yeah, the first one, I had a bunch of water tests with it.
Yeah. Hey, Rob Kirsch, do you gentlemen have advice on recovery speed settings for the 800? See, Rob, the thing is with recovery speed is, again, that really depends on your situation. If you're hunting high trashy area, if you're hunting a lot of iron, and I mean, it sounds like a machine gun of iron going off every time you sweep that coil, then you're going to want a little higher recovery speed. But the thing is, that's one of those questions that's hard to answer. It's situational. If you're in a good, clean ground, you said that you're running on one and sweeping slowly. Now, that's okay if you're in clean ground and you can reach down for those deep signals, say in a park or something like that where you don't have a lot of iron. But you really got to slow down on that one recovery speed and really listen for those deeper targets. So that is just totally situational, just like everything else. I mean, every situation is different.
Yep. When Piper asked the question, how do the bone conduction headphones work on land? They work really good. I know a lot of people that hunt shallow beach and they use the bone conduction headphones. Yep.
I haven't tried those yet. Dan was telling me about them. I guess, have you found any bone conduction that'll work with the Manticore?
No, I haven't. I wouldn't be surprised if that's, down the line for Nokta as well as MINELAB, because right now going underwater with any machine, like I said, with the cup headphones, it's tough. But the Deus 2 with the bone conduction, even on land, if you're worried about dropping them in the water, they sit right here. They don't sit on your ears. They sit above, it's kind of on your temple, and
Yeah,
they vibrate your ears. When I knew that they were coming out with those, I was really excited because my son is legally deaf, and he had a bone conduction implant when he was a baby that
really.
gave him perfect hearing with this thing. It's incredible the way it works.
That's awesome.
So you hear it like you're wearing headphones when you're underwater with the bone conduction headphones. It's crystal clear. Yeah.
I've never tried them.
Finders
I'm looking
keepers.
forward
What's up,
to it
buddy?
though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if other companies get involved with that because that's the way to go underwater. Must be nice to have 2 Manticores. Paid for mine 3 months ago and nothing. Yeah, Don, sorry, man. I mean,
Yeah. That's across the
stinks.
board. Don't feel bad. You're not a lonesome dove right there.
You still under Oklahoma? I can't say anything about it. I mean, everything really there is to know about it. I can kind of speak to what was online. Online that person that posted the China video that everyone was questioning went through all the settings and everything. It's a single frequency machine, single selectable frequency machine that will be waterproof as well.
Hey, Digging Daryl, how you doing? Um, okay, yeah, I got a video coming out on that Friday that explains everything about ground balance. But do what's best for you. I would suggest as a new user that you use the auto ground balance. It's very easy to use. The manual ground balance, and it again, it depends. Some people ground balance every single place that they hunt. Like in my area, I don't see that necessary. I don't know about you, Iffy, but
Hardly
there's
ever. Hardly ever. On
yeah,
the
there's a lot of areas. I mean, unless you're in a highly mineralized area, there's not much sense. I mean, you can, it's not going to hurt anything, but there's really no need to ground balance. What you're trying to do with ground balance is to silence the minerals that are in the ground so you're not hearing that ground noise.
Yeah.
And
If
it
you go
can
up
help
and
you with
down with
your
your
depth.
coil and you're hearing the whoop, whoop, whoop like that, then ground balance. If you're not hearing that, you're all set. Leave it at 0. I have a
Yeah.
couple of sites where I do that, where I'll be raising up and down the coil, and you'll hear that when you go up and down. It's positive ground balance, negative ground balance, and if when you're hearing that whoop whoop noise, you can mostly eliminate it, but always noise cancel. Yeah, Alan, always noise cancel, because that's going to find the
Oh,
quietest
always.
frequency. Yeah, it's going to find the quietest frequency around, including any frequencies that your phone is pumping out. You know.
And you need to noise cancel multiple times as you hunt. I mean, every so often do a noise cancel as you move around, because your EMI changes as well. The difference between your ground balance and your noise cancel is your noise cancel is intended for your EMI. Your ground balance is intended for ground noise, minerals. So in most cases, unless you live in a highly mineralized area or something like that, or you're detecting in a mineralized area, ground balance really isn't that big of a deal now.
Yeah. Finder said, seems all these new releases are epic failures from everyone. Yeah, Finders, it's tough. I mean, these machines aren't coming in the way that we wanted them to, or that people expected them to. If that's what you're talking about, like getting them to the public.
Yeah, Toby, as far as research and stuff goes, you know, I know it sounds cliche because everybody mentions it, I guess, but your local library, looking for local history and stuff like that, poring over old maps and stuff, trying to find, the thing is, most people out there don't really spend a lot of time researching, and I've been guilty of that myself. I really kind of get impatient with research sometimes, but there's some people that are really good at it. And when you become good at your research, it pays off, because a lot of people, I mean, you're going to be finding stuff that a lot of people are not familiar with, forgotten things of the past, where an old homestead used to be, or an old swimming hole or something like that. And so really, I mean, for me, I think probably the local library, there is a ton. They have old maps and stuff you can look at. Some of them you can get copies of and take home. Others, they won't let you copy. You have to read them right there at the library. But if you find old books, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a history book, it could be a pioneer book, maybe that some lady wrote, that just gives you a lead of, maybe it mentions a certain creek and where a homestead used to sit on this creek or something like that. And you look on the map or something now, or get on Google Earth, and you don't see that there. That's a long and lost, forgotten cabin or whatever that was there.
Yeah.
So research pays off. It takes a lot of practice, and there's so many different avenues you can take with research.
Yeah. I tell everyone to go to the Library of Congress website. If it's a rainy day and you're bored, go check out the Library of Congress website. It's incredible.
Yeah,
You
that's a
can
good one.
you can find old Sanborn maps and maps for your areas that go all the way back to, like for my particular area, they go back to the late 1600s, early 1700s. But I'm in New England, so we got here and we started to really settle around the early 1600s in my area. So there's a lot of really cool stuff on there too, even if even if they don't have a particular map for your area, they have fire, I forget what they're
Mhm.
called, but basically districts where there was people that lived there, and they were actually in charge of their local community for putting out fires. And every town had this group of people that would run around with buckets and put out fires. And that those maps give you a lot of information too, on where there was at least um, you know a population.
And one thing I like to think about too is the first ways of travel. I
Yeah, there you
mean,
go, Alan. Sorry to
way
interrupt.
back in the old days, I mean, the ways of travel was by water, so check around the rivers and streams and stuff like that, and usually people, whenever they built a home, they had to build it near water, for easy access. They didn't have it the way we have it now so much. The next form of travel was the railroad. I mean, if you take a look at railroad maps now, the old railroad maps, it'll show you a lot of places that
What's
you
up,
may not.
Northwest?
What's that?
I was just saying hi to Northwest.
Oh, hey, how you doing? So yeah, there's a lot of different avenues for research.
Yep. That's another good one Busy just said. I drive around too.
Me
drive
too.
around
I
and
love doing that.
yeah, I drive around, look for old houses in my area, especially farm fields and stuff. And it's great in the spring and the summer because if there's someone outside already like cutting their lawn or on the tractor, then you don't have to go door knocking. You just pull over and ask them.
And one of the, I don't know if you use this, Iffy, but he probably rather be called Michael.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, Michael, Mike, Iffy, whatever.
But anyway, what I use is on XHunt. I use that app, and it's really helpful because if while you're driving around, you can find an area that, or maybe an old house that you're interested in seeing about getting permission on. You can pull up on XHunt to see who the landowner is, and then you just have to get on to Google or wherever and research, to try to find maybe a phone number or an address or something. You can usually get the address on XHunt. It's the address that is on the tax records.
Yeah. I mean, just metal detect the property anyway. If they don't want you there, they'll come out and tell you.
Oh, yeah. Don't get them in trouble now. They'll let you know for sure.
Yep.
But, yeah. Okay, let's see. Great point. They considered a creek behind us as a highway in the late 1700s here. Most wind was running high after some recent rains. Yeah, people, I mean, they were completely dependent on streams and rivers and stuff like that. They had to have that water. Now we have wells and everybody's got water.
Yep.
Except for over in Ohio. So you don't want to drink the water in Ohio.
It was practiced at dump sites. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Alan, back in the day, I mean, your dump site was somewhere on your property and you just filled it up. And then when that was full, you filled it with dirt and dug another one too. They'll hit you with buckshot where I come from.
Let's see.
I can jump off here if someone else wants to jump in. I just when you sent it out, I figured I would stop in and say hi.
No, I can fit more people in here, but nobody's jumped on to. So if anybody has any, let's see, I'll put the invite out there.
Come on, finders keepers, click the link.
All right, you guys, I'm going to put a link down there if you have some information or a story or something like that for metal detecting or something. I can bring you on here. So yeah, I can fit, I think 4 people on StreamYard at one time. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm glad you came on though, Iffy. That's a surprise. I've seen you in here a few times, in the chat and stuff. So,
yep.
But
yeah, I'm gonna jump out, but I'll still be watching. So if anyone has any questions, I'll be in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Good times. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Take care, Mike.
Take care. Yep.
All right. Well, that was a surprise, you guys. I've talked with Mike a few times on the phone and stuff, and yeah, he's testing machines. If you guys are not subscribed to Iffy Signals on YouTube, you might want to hop over there because he's got some good information, some good videos and stuff there to look at. So give him a Iffy Signals on YouTube. So give him a sub over there. Okay, let's see here. Flying out of Seattle and Newark on 4/11, hunting New Hampshire for 3 days, then down to Pennsylvania for 3 days. Looking forward to some old dirt. Wow, man, you're making me jealous now. That I'm envious of that. That sounds like a lot of fun there. I've been wanting to plan a trip. I just wasn't sure exactly where I want to go. I was thinking Florida, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I want to hit some of that old dirt too. Here in Idaho, our history just doesn't go back all that far. So let's see here. John, you better behave yourself there, Pilgrim. You're going to get some trouble going on there. Anyway. All right. Hippie Signal's got a new subscriber, but Sodbusters is still my favorite. Well, Zeke, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. So, yes, John, very, very true. Fix your holes on your permissions or you ruin it for others. Yep. I don't want to get on a kick again because I think I've covered it quite a bit here lately, but we do have to really do this hobby with integrity. Make sure you guys are keeping things clean and tidy. Use ethics, you guys. So, all right. Anybody else got any questions here? Let's see. I grew up in Vermont. The Northeast calls me home at least once a year. Vermont, you know, I watch Green Mountain Metal Detecting. I like his channel, and he sure pulls up a lot of history there. A lot of history in that Vermont country there. So let's see here. I'm going to put it up here again, you guys. Copy. All right. All right. If you guys have a metal detecting story or something you'd like to talk about, I've got the link down there in the chat if you want to hop on here. So, yeah, it was sure cold out there making video today. I'm ready for spring to pop up anytime because I don't know. I don't handle the cold as much these days as I used to. I used to be a full-time trapper, and I would be out there in sub-zero temperatures checking traps and snares and stuff like that, and I would be on a four-wheeler doing it, so that makes it even worse. I've got pictures of me all bundled up. You can't even recognize who I am. Look like the abominable snowman out there. Got icicles growing off my mustache and beard and stuff. But anymore, I don't know, just not as easy these days as it used to be. I think age has something to do with that. Let's see. Brad's channel is great. Yeah. He's got a huge channel, man. I don't know how long he's had that channel, but he's got, I don't know how many subscribers. It's crazy. Makes me jealous. So, yeah, we can all learn things, and I watch people. You know, I tell people one time, there was one guy that all he could do is just give me advice constantly. I mean, the guy could never do any wrong. He would give you advice when you didn't ask for it. And after so much of this, you know, you need to do this, you need to do that, I finally told him, I said, you know, I take my advice from people who are at a place in life where I would like to be. And you know what? You're not that person. So anyway, yeah. Civil War bullets with the legend. Yeah. I saw somebody else today. I'm not sure what machine it was. I believe, no, I think it was the Manticore that they were talking about. They got a Manticore and they went out and they were just stacking up the Civil War bullets. They had all kinds of 3-ringers and stuff. It was crazy. So you went detect. I don't know how you're digging this ground, Ron. Is it tilled ground that I don't know how you're doing that, because I tried to go out here the other day and it's just solid. You can't get a shovel in the ground. Of course, I don't know. I imagine your weather's pretty darn close to what I'm seeing here too. So, metal detecting northwest 10 degrees this morning. Okay. Okay, iffy signals and very audible two-way signals. Not sure where the I kind of lost my way in the chat here, you guys. Not sure what that comment was all about there, but but anyway, yeah. So somebody in here was talking about they just received their Merlin shovel. Well, I shouldn't say shovel because the Merlin is a two-piece that comes with a couple of different spades and stuff. So somebody, I don't know who that was mentioning that earlier in the chat, but you'll be real happy with that. That's a good shovel. So finders, I do pull coins at a good spread of VDIs. Yeah, and that's another thing, guys, is your VDI numbers is a reference point, but don't put all your trust in it either. Listen to those tones. Dig the tones rather than the numbers. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was, yep. Oh, so you got the Sir K along with the Merlin. Oh, that's awesome. You're set to go. Yeah, they're awesome shovels. That's what I use. So, yep, dig the repeatable tones. In the beginning, I would probably suggest to dig all the repeatable tones and stuff. Later on, as you get a feel for your metal detectors and stuff, you can start digging more of what you call iffy signals, just like iffy in here. Those iffy signals can be good targets down there. It's just a matter of what you're listening for. But you learn to hear these things, and eventually things start to click. Yeah, that's probably a good target down there, and you start turning on it, different angles, different sweep speeds. There's different things you can do to see, to try to find out if it's going to be a good target or not. But ultimately, you won't know until you get that spade in the ground and pop it up and see what it is. So Casey custom made me an 11-inch blade. Sir K thing is a monster. Awesome. You know what, Finders Keepers? I think I seen a picture of that. I think you got the very first of that 11-inch spade on that, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I think Casey's probably in here listening, but I'm sure he's out in his shop right now, buzzing away on shovels. So, yeah, yep. Use those tones because I don't know. Eventually, if you hunt a spot over and over again, maybe it served you really well at a point in time where you're digging all kinds of old silver and Indian head pennies and all kinds of good stuff. Eventually, those cherry picking tones run out. Those repeatable, good, solid signals, they start to run out, and you have to start lowering your standards. That doesn't mean you're going to start digging worse targets. I mean, you're still going to dig trash, but even those iffy signals can really produce sometimes even better targets. So yeah, after you learn that, then you start digging other signals that may not sound to be textbook, then you start seeing different things there, but still good stuff. Okay, so Finders Keepers was the first one. All right, that's awesome. That is awesome. 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 I think I said that in the video today too. I did the old Porky Pig because I lost my words. So yeah. Casey says he only sleeps and makes shovels. He doesn't eat anymore. He doesn't have time for that. I think that's South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, and that's coming up. Is that next week, you guys? Dig stock? I think that's like in a week or two. Oh, North Carolina in March. Yep. I'm not sure when in March, but I won't be going to it. So March 9th. Okay. Yep. All right. So for those of you who are going, I hope you find some goodies. I'm sure a lot will. But anyway, that's what this hobby's all about. Just getting out and having fun, finding some history or some jewelry or just even some change if that's what you're after. I mean, it doesn't always have to be something old. It can just be whatever somebody dropped last week that makes people happy, you know. Whatever floats your boat is what they used to say. I dug an 1837 large cent off an iffy signal from an area I have hammered. Yeah, that's awesome. 1837. Can you imagine? I mean, I've always kind of thought back. Matter of fact, I said it to a lady in a grocery store day before yesterday that I thought that I was born about 100 years too late. And she said, yeah, I've always thought that too, you know, but I love history. I mean, I can look at our coins today and they're just like, nothing exciting. But I look at some of these coins 100 years ago or older, and that's what I like, you know. I love the history. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, if there's guys that go out there and all they do is hunt parks and just get clad and the occasional piece of jewelry and stuff like that, and they end up just racking up the coins. I can't remember the numbers now, but here about 2 years ago, I was talking to somebody that's all he did is just go out and collect clad, you know, metal detecting for clad. And he made bank. I mean, it's not going to be wages, but he raked in a lot of money that year. I was very surprised at how much he got. The lack of antibiotics. Oh. Well, they had different kinds of antibiotics. They weren't refined back then. Opium and let's see, laudanum. Laudanum was opium, I think, or a mixture of opium and laudanum. I think was a mixture of opium and tequila or vodka or something. I don't know. It was some sort of a crazy thing. Oh. Yeah, anything could kill you then, but apparently things are a little more dangerous as we speak now. The country's kind of going crazy. You never know what's going to get you. But 2 Confederate buttons last weekend on his hunt. Oh wow, Southern Relic Adventures. That's awesome. 2 Confederate buttons. Yep. Yeah, the lifespan back then was a lot different. Of course, times were a lot harder back then too. We didn't have hydraulics. We didn't have the conveniences of, I mean, if you wanted to take off and go visit somebody, you couldn't go and turn the key in your rig. You had to go and, you know, saddle a horse or harness a team or something like that. It was all, and you did that whatever the weather was offering at the time. And you didn't get up in the middle of the night and just walk in the next bathroom to go to the bathroom. You ended up having to walk out in those cold or hot or whatever elements they were and go sit on a toilet and fight the spiders and the mice and everything else. So yeah, things were different. But, you know, in some ways, those times were, I'm sure, extremely difficult. But then again, much more simple than what we have today. Let's see here. You cut your arm off with just a shot of wood. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even like whiskey. But yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very true. Things have drastically declined in a lot of ways. So, all right, Hog, are you going swinging tomorrow? I'm not. We're frozen to death up here. We're solid ice. But we're supposed to have spring here in another, what, 2-3 weeks, I think, is the first day of spring. I don't know. But if Idaho doesn't catch up to the calendar here, we're not going to be seeing it. Oh, Sacramento. Okay, I've got a brother and a sister that live down that way. Got a brother that lives in Lake of the Pines, and I've got a sister in Lodi. And I let them have it. Are you serious, Ron? Are you serious? I don't know how you're doing that. I don't know how you're digging. It must be pulling up clumps and then, I don't know. Are you taking a blowtorch out there to thaw the ground where you dig? So, anyway. A lucky bucket. Kicking the bucket meant something different in those days. Yeah. Yeah, you bet. So, okay. Southern Relics. In South Carolina, 73 degrees. Somebody needs a whipping. Oh, man. Making me jealous over here. Yeah, I'm spoiled. I want some sunshine. But I also need a torch or something. I cannot get a shovel in the ground over here. It's solid. Where you are, Sawbuster. And now this picture, this picture behind me here, that's a virtual picture. That's not my country. I wish it was, though. That's beautiful. But I can show you something else here. Let me do something here. Let me see. Virtual background. All right, you guys. I'm going to show you. Did you see my new house? It's not really my house. I'm far from being able to afford something like that. Let's see here. 1937 school there. 50s here in Kentucky. Tomorrow, 1837 school near downtown with a crew. That sounds like a lot of fun. Oh, Larry, if you're ever up in Pennsylvania, I have 1700 wagon trail I haven't detected yet. Wow, you're tempting me now there. Busy digging, Brian. Oh, yeah. I'm not even one that really likes piano, so I'll sell it to you. I'll send you this picture. So okay. So anyway, anybody want to hop on here? I'm going to send out that invite again. If you got any metal detecting stories or or whatever. Anything that you found that you want to talk about, or maybe you've got something you want to show to people on here right now. So I really appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Chopsticks. The only chopsticks I play is at the Chinese restaurant when I go and have chow mein. So, and I don't do very well with those either. So, Pennsylvania had lost Confederate gold, didn't it? Southern Relics, I don't know if you've seen, but just the other day somebody had posted, I don't even remember where this was, and I don't know the validity of the story, but somebody said that they had told the FBI where some gold was buried. Apparently they had a GPR unit, ground penetrate, that's all, folks. Ground penetrating radar unit, and they were getting signals where just a big old pile of gold from the Civil War times, I guess. They told the FBI about it. Why? I'm wondering, why would you do that? I mean, that's where you kind of lose the validity of the story. Is if I knew where there's a pile of gold buried, the last place or the last thing I'm going to do is go to the government and say, hey, guys, there's a pile of gold over here. I'll let you have it for a small cut. I'm not that trusting. So anyway, apparently the guy has a lawsuit out now against the FBI because he says that the FBI went in there, and I guess there was eyewitnesses that saw equipment up there digging in the middle of the night, and they went back up there. Everything was backfilled. They took the GPR unit again and started scanning that area. The signal they were getting of the gold that used to be there was no longer there. So apparently they went in and helped themselves. The FBI did. And so now he's got a lawsuit against them. So I don't know if anybody else heard that story. I posted it in the Sodbusters Metal Detecting Facebook group. I don't know how true that is. I mean, you have to pick and choose what is true and what's not out there on the internet these days. Probably always has been that way. Here we go. Yeah, we got Rye Patch Ron, the frozen digger over here.
Well, I got nothing to say. I'll just give you a hard time because you look kind of lonesome.
I am lonesome. Hey, if you look like me, you'd be lonesome too. So, so how is it you're going out there and digging in this? I mean, our ground is just solid, man. You couldn't, if you were to swing a pick into it, it'd leave a dimple, and that's all it's going to do.
Am I still on here? Because I'm having trouble with feedback.
Yo, I hear you. Do you have the YouTube on?
Okay, I just shut it off and it went away.
Okay, good. Yeah. YouTube
the
usually creates problems.
The reason I'm digging is because it is plowed ground and they plowed real deep last fall. But it froze on the top, and it's froze about 3 inches right now. But you can still break through it if you just work at it a little bit.
Really?
It was really nice the other day when about 2-3 days ago before this last freeze came in. I actually had dirt out there. I didn't know how to act. And it was getting muddy today when I quit, because anytime that sun comes out, that's a little bit of wetness up there turns to mud real fast.
Yeah.
You come up tomorrow, we can put you on the end of a shovel and you can dig a couple holes.
What do you mean? You're the one that's going to be on the end of the shovel. I'd be the one swinging the detector.
Well, you don't have a good machine. You got that off-brand one.
Hey, Southern Relic Adventures, I vouch for it, man. I really like those shovels. Excalibur is awesome. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But you are finding some things this winter. You're doing more digging than I am.
Well, last couple of days actually haven't been too good. Just been finding junk because that's a lot of what I find out there anyway. Because that's about all that's left. The easy stuff's been gone for a long time, and the rest of it's just work. And that's why I use the machine that I use most of the time, because the other ones are looking for better targets. And the one I'm using now works a little harder than that iron, because unless you actually hunted in it, you don't realize how bad it is. There's places in it that's not so bad, but a lot of it is just horrible.
Yeah.
You get 4 or 5 signals on every swing, and you've got to get right on top of what's there. And I see how people swing and stuff walking around on these videos. They would not do well in my spot.
100 miles an hour.
Yep, so you got to slow down. And if it even beeps once, you got to check every signal. And I know a lot of people don't do that. They just hear it. If it don't sound just perfect when they go over like a aluminum can, they keep going. Yeah. If it breaks that tone, you got to back over it, and you got to try and see if you can find it in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like you and I both used to go out there and hunt gold nuggets. Yep. I mean, that's all about threshold. If that threshold breaks, you better be stopping and investigating that signal, because if you don't, you're going to be passing over a chunk of gold or something,
And the last nice one I found down there on that one video I made, it was down around roughly 30 inches. And all it did was just barely break the threshold.
Yeah.
After I took off a couple inches, and it broke just a little bit more than I knew I was going to be there for a while, because that was hard digging that day. It was a little better than a half-ounce nugget, but it was down there a long ways, and it was like concrete.
Well, sometimes, that real faint signal break in the threshold, that just breaking threshold, you just slightly hear it, and then you just scrape off the top a little bit, and all of a sudden you start feeling, hearing a little more of a signal in there. Dig down deeper, it starts getting louder and louder. Next thing you know, you got a nice piece of gold down in the hole down there about 18 inches or something,
Yeah. It's kind of like the opposite of the CTX. It breaks threshold. You just got to ignore it because that's iron.
Yeah. I've been wanting to get back out and do some gold detecting, but I don't know. I'm not set up.
I found down there in Arizona the other day.
Big chunk, the sweet potato they found.
Yeah, and in Arizona, that's kind of amazing if he found it was a detector like they said, because that place has been gone over a lot.
What'd they say that they found it with?
They didn't.
Oh,
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it because I just seen it. That's nice chunk gold.
Yeah, I don't know, that was a huge chunk, and people see stuff like that and they say, "Oh, I'm gonna get a gold detector and go after gold," thinking they're gonna do the same thing. But that's a rare case right there. I mean, most of the time you find little pieces.
You know the millions of hours and you do about how many people have put in, and they haven't got one of those.
That's right. That's right. I'd never come close to it at all.
If you was in Australia, you might have a shot, but over here, stuff like that is just hard to find.
Right.
It's kind of like finding 1700 stuff up here in Idaho. It's just pretty rare occurrence.
Yeah.
I got a couple early 1800s, and I was thrilled to death about that.
So let's see. Threshold is when you just start to hear a repeatable. No. Threshold is a setting on your detector that just gives you a hum. And basically you're listening, if you're hunting with a threshold, you're listening for any variance in that hum. I'd set up a detector. I'm not going to do that right now, but I might do something here later on. Or if you're in the Sodbusters Metal Detecting Facebook group, we could discuss more about the threshold. But that threshold is a solid constant. And then when you hear that vary at all, that's a break in the threshold, is something that the detector is detecting. And so if you hear that break in the threshold, you have to investigate that to see why the threshold broke.
You don't want it real loud. You just barely want it so you can hear it to begin with. So when it breaks, you can tell the difference. If you got too loud, then it won't break it. It wants something very small.
Right.
So
that gold hunting, when you're out there metal detecting for gold, that's really a different beast compared to, you're using PI machines rather than the VLF. And it really is a different ball game hunting for gold.
Well, some of these new machines like the Noxus and stuff, and even the Deus that I hunt with and the new Manticore, they can use them for gold. They've actually done pretty well with the Nox 800, finding small gold for using it as a VLF machine.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, who's that over in Arizona? There's a guy, I can't remember his channel name right now. But he would take that Equinox 800 with the 6-inch coil and find some very impressively small pieces. And I know some of you might think, well, I don't want to go out and find small pieces, but actually that's your bread and butter. When it comes to gold, the small gold is what adds up. The bigger gold, if you skip over the small gold and just look for the large gold, you're going to be going home broke more than not. So
there's tons of them little bitty ones out there, and then when the weather changes like it is now, it turns the soil over, and then your water runs down. Those little pieces will move and get them where you can find them. Because if they're very deep, you can't find them, so they got to be on the surface. Those bigger ones, they don't move so easy when they're down there at 20 and 30 inches, and most people won't dig that kind of stuff. That's why a lot of people, like me, when you get old, you quit gold hunting and start coin hunting because they're not so deep.
Yeah. And that, I mean, depending on your gold field, it can get kind of rough out there. I know when I was hunting Nevada, I'd spend, 5 or 6 days out there at a time, and there wasn't a shade tree in sight, and it was, 100 plus degrees, and you'd look like a lobster. You've got, I don't know what kind of crickets they were, but they were huge. They called them Mormon crickets. And those things would literally have migrations to where you could be detecting along, and then all of a sudden you had what seemed to be thousands of these things. They'd be landing on you. It was crazy. And I know one trip I took down there to go metal detecting. I metal detected for about a week, and then I was heading back to Idaho, and I hit a road slick of these crickets that was literally like black ice. It was apparently the guts of these things were smeared on the road, and it literally was like black ice. You could not control the vehicle. It was crazy. So you've got to deal with those. You've got scorpions. I seen my very first scorpion down there metal detecting for gold.
At night with a fluorescent light, you'll see hundreds of them hanging in the sagebrush.
Is that right?
Well, they look like a skeleton hanging in the sagebrush because that's all you see with a black light.
I'll be darned.
You just shine that out there, and they'll just be hanging all over the place.
I'll be darned.
I don't mind those. It's the rattlesnakes that I didn't particularly care for.
Yeah, you got to watch out for them.
Especially when you're, swinging in that brush that's up to your shoulders, and the grass is about up to your knees, and you can't see anything.
Okay, so Spoon says, what do the state parks have to lose by allowing us to detect those parks? That is something that I have thought about time and time again, but if you will notice, if you read some of the stories, I know like in Idaho, there's state parks that have a story within the state park, like, what is that, Ron? The City of Rocks down there in southern Idaho. There's a story of somebody that robbed a stagecoach or something like that.
There's actually several stories down there in that Rock City area down there.
Yeah.
That whole area, that whole area over there.
And so they never did find the gold. And so what I'm wondering, I'm not sure when the state park was actually created. I'm guessing it was after that time that happened. So I have a feeling that in my mind, the state park, the rules of a state park, they created a state park to protect whatever has not been located there, and just made the rule that you can't detect that state park. Now, there are some state parks that I've read in Idaho. I haven't tried this personally, but in Idaho, I've heard that you can get a permit on some of them to metal detect. But I have a feeling that the creation of the state park and to put the rule in there that you cannot detect there is to protect some of these treasure stories. I don't know. What do
Well,
you guys think?
It's more from what you were having on here a couple weeks ago when you had that little deal on it about people digging holes. That has a lot to do with it, because if you lose a bunch of those in the state parks, it looked like that video I sent you before I was down there in Nevada with it. I mean, it's just, you've seen the video. Yep. They just leave holes everywhere, and you know that's kind of what's going on with the deal where you were talking about with your city parks and stuff. There's not enough people to take care in the hobby to do what they need to be doing, so we can have permission. But there is some of that too, because there are some very valuable stuff that the government don't plan on you having.
Yep. Just like Alan said too. I mean, yeah, that's right, you guys. I mean, we're literally digging ourselves out of a hobby because many are not using integrity and common sense and respect out there. And you got to stop, because it really gonna cause this hobby to be just shut down. I've heard so many stories. That video that you're talking about, Ron, if you were to look at the comments that I got on that video, so many people were saying, yeah, they shut down metal detecting on city property and city parks where I live because people were leaving things a mess. And that's just how quick it can happen. Pretty soon the city ordinance comes in like that, says no more detecting. And it's because people failed to do things the right way.
Yeah.
So
and it only takes one, because there was one guy out there that did all that. And I mean, you know, and I'm pretty sure I know who it was. That's beside the point. But I mean, they just don't cover up anything. They just leave a mess. Right. And you know, it's kind of like what I would say, you're digging your own grave. They're just shallow, but you're digging them.
Southern Relic Adventures, where I'm at, I mean, we do have mineralized ground in areas, but a lot of that is, you know, up in the mountains and stuff. We have areas here where gold was discovered, and usually the gold is discovered in more mineralized areas. But where I live and where Ron lives, the mineralization's really not that bad. I mean, we have very minimal mineralization. You get into certain gold fields, the mineralization is so bad that some detectors will absolutely not work in there. And you have to have a good PI machine in order to hunt it. But
DLS will work in it too, but it's got to be ground balance just right. But up here, like you're saying, what I have in my spot up here, I have an abundance of lava hot rocks. And the problem is they come in at a nice, cool, calm 83, which is right at the bottom end of my Indian head pennies. And you can't really get rid of them because you've got to, that's too close to the Indian head penny. So I got to deal with that.
So you don't try to balance those out because you're going to balance out something good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hot rocks. That's, as a matter of fact, I mentioned that in the video I was working on today. I mentioned talking about hot rocks. And in some cases, if you're dealing with hot rocks is basically a iron rock. It's
also cold stones.
Yeah. And in a lot of cases, if you're hunting gold fields and stuff, you can try to balance, ground balance those hot rocks out so you're not hearing those. But depending on what you're hunting, like in Ron's case, he's hunting coins and relics. So it's not as
I have to put up with it.
What's that?
I'd like to be able to balance them out and get rid of them so I didn't have to dig some of them ones that are down there 1.5 feet, but you can't because it could be a good target and you have to use your head about how far you're going to go because dime ain't down there 12 inches. It's not going to happen where I'm at.
Uh-huh.
You get past 6 or 8, you're looking for something bigger than what you're thinking you're going to find. Especially when they plow stuff and then put them pop cans down there about 1 foot.
Brian, I think some people actually don't even care about their yard. I think the people that make a mess out there digging holes and leaving the trash and all that kind of stuff probably don't, I'm guessing their yard don't look too good either. So, unfortunately.
Yeah, they probably threw out their pop cans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of hunting parks. I used to a lot, but I get so upset of how many people just throw out crap all the time and just leave it. And that's why I try and hunt, nothing but older sites, because first of all, I'm looking for older stuff. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with hunting parks, but you just have to realize that you have to have the right machine to do that and set up right, because you're going to find an awful lot of that. And you can't pass. I tuned in just in time you talked about tones, and you can't, and IDs, you cannot use ID and think, well, I'm going to just leave that because the ID is such and such. Because if you've got target here and a target here, a lot of times those two numbers will blend. And when they blend, they'll lie to you about what they are. And you think you're leaving the pop top, and you may be leaving the ring because they come in at the same thing.
That's right.
You just, when you're digging in that type of environment, you got to learn, you got to dig stuff.
Okay, so let's see. Thanks, guys. Love the show, hearing about other areas and types of soils. You bet, Southern Relic Adventures. Glad you're able to make it here. Woody Bogg says Bannock, Montana was made a state park where the Plumber Gang was operating. I think they made it a park to protect the hidden treasure. I wonder about it, because a lot of the places where they made state parks just seem to have these treasure stories within them. I don't know.
I happen to have that story, and it's not where the park is.
Oh, it's not?
No, you can look on Google Earth, and you can see they've been digging, trying to find it out there, and they're just digging in the wrong spot from them, because I actually have a map that I got from somebody that died a long time ago, and they're a little ways away from it.
I'll be darned.
I was going to go over and get it, but I got too old. And you got to get permission over there, and I'm just feeling I need somebody like you to come get permission for me, because I don't think they would be letting me find that. There's 300 pounds of gold buried out there, and there's also a whole bunch of silver, about $9,000 silver dollars buried out there by Virginia City.
Hey, Iffy Signals. Hey, I appreciate you joining the stream tonight, man. That was a treat. Thank you. You have yourself a good night. So, no, Ron, I could almost live on that kind of a find. Yeah, I mean, it'd be tough, but it'd be tough, but I think I could maybe manage.
Well, unless you call the FBI and tell them you found it,
Yeah. Say, hey, I'll split it with you. I don't find that I don't know. Some people are a few French fries short of a Happy Meal, I guess.
Well, you and I both know that if you do find something, it's hard not to tell somebody.
It is. It's very tough.
But if you want to keep it, you can't tell them. That's just all it is. It's just like that one you're talking about going after. You have all these people, and that want to go help you, but can you trust that person to not tell somebody?
No. I have one guy that's going to be going with me, and he's the one that actually got the story from somebody else who was dying of cancer. So, and he actually forgot about it for years. He forgot about the story, and about, I don't know, it must have been 6-8 months ago or something like that, he remembered it and told me of the story. And he started to recall the details that this man told him. And I started to research it, and I'm so stinking close right now. It's just unbelievable. I mean,
well, you can tell me, I'll run up and dig it out for you. I can dig in that frozen ground.
I know you're the one that has the working shovel right now. So, but as soon as the weather allows it, we're going to find out,
Yeah, and the sad part about it is, you were talking about a video. You really can't do that.
What's that?
I can tell you that. You were talking about making a video, when you were talking about that, you really can't.
Yeah. I wouldn't actually film.
You can't do nothing.
Of it.
You can't even tell me.
Yeah.
If you tell anybody, and you know this, and so is everybody else that's listening, if you tell anybody, somebody's going to tell somebody.
Well, the problem is you get, all of a sudden you have a long lost relative that pops up or something, or somebody.
Or the IRS knocking on your front door.
You have what?
IRS knocking on your front door.
Yeah.
Because they got 87,000 new guys, looking for something to do.
No, they got rid of them.
I heard they were going to, but I hadn't seen where they had.
Oh, yeah. I would have a little surprise.
Oh, in that case, you go ahead and take me. I can't get a finder's fee then.
Oh, but I'm looking forward to finding out what I can make of this, and I'm excited about it, because I am, I've got all of the I've got everything put into place as of right now. I just need weather to cooperate with me.
Well, it's too far for me to drive, so you're safe.
You bet. So anyway, if I do come across it, you'll know, because I'll be traveling to different places to go and metal detect. You'll see me traveling more. So I'll probably have a better looking truck and everything. But anyway, I never thought that I'd be in a position to have an opportunity to find something,
I've got one here in town that is well worth the dig, but the guys won't let me dig it.
I couldn't hear you, Ron.
Yeah, I have one here right in town that's well worth the dig, that has gold and silver in it, and they won't let me dig. I had another one besides that I was digging on that's still supposed to be in this spot, but I covered that with every machine I had, and I don't think it's where they said it was. Because I would have came up with that.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a good, reliable source, and be able to get to it.
Yeah. So Casey says the next live stream I'd look like Mr. T. Yeah, that's from carrying out all that gold. So what are you saying? I don't look like Mr. T now? Hey,
he don't wear a hat.
I'm a fine figure of a man.
Yeah, but he don't wear no hat.
I've almost got as much hair as he had. It's going away.
I'm pretty much there. All right, Larry, I'll get out of here and get you back to your show. I just wanted to give you a hard time.
No, I appreciate you coming on, Ron.
But I figure out how to stop this, I will.
But yeah, we've been on here for an hour and 48 minutes. So, but anyway, you guys, well, I don't want to keep you here all night, because you'll blame me if you don't get a good night's sleep tonight. But I've enjoyed this stream, you guys. Let's see here. Hang on a second. There we go. Hang on a second. There we go. There we go. I've enjoyed the stream, you guys. And Ron, I think I've still got you here. I've got your audio. I'll mute your mic here. There we go. But anyway, you guys have been awesome. We've had between, I think, 40 and 50 people in here all night. So you guys are great. I appreciate you joining me here. And we're going to try to do this again next Friday night, 5:00 p.m. Pacific time. And you guys hop on over to Sodbusters Metal Detecting if you have a Facebook account. It's the Sodbusters Metal Detecting Facebook group. And I can answer questions. You guys can PM me there if you have questions about metal detecting equipment, just metal detecting questions in general. And you guys, we have an awesome group. Really, I feel funny even saying it like that, because I'm so proud of the Sodbusters Metal Detecting group, the Facebook group. We don't have the drama in there. If I see drama in there, it's gone like that. We take care of it. So there's no bantering back and forth. Everybody gets along. People are helpful. I'm very proud of the people that are in that group. It's just awesome. It's a great community. So if you guys get a chance, feel free to join the Sodbusters Metal Detecting Facebook group. And like I say, I do update, like if we get a shipment of Manticores in or something like that, I update in the group before I update on YouTube or any place else. Because normally I do a video like once a week on YouTube, but on the Facebook group, I update any news that I might get at that very moment. So if I get daily news, you'll see it on the Facebook group. So just look at Sodbusters Metal Detecting on Facebook, look for the group, and a lot of people are in the chat right now are from the group. I think Piper Warrior's in there. Alan Pfeiffer's in there. We got a lot of people in there, but it's Will Roberts is in there. It's a great group, you guys, great people. So come join us. But anyway, you guys are awesome. If you haven't checked out the video that I put out this morning, go take a look at that. If you guys can share these videos out, that would be a big help to my channel. It really helps the algorithm when people share and comment and like. And also every Friday I put out a new video. So if you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe. And then also, if you would hit the bell icon, you'll get notifications each time I upload a new video, and that's going to really help out too. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you, Piper Warrior. I appreciate you being here tonight. And Ron, I thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Be safe out there. Hopefully your weather is warmer than mine. If it is, please share. Okay, you can share, and I'll try to share some of my cold weather with you guys. But anyway, all right. Thanks, Zeke. I appreciate you. And you guys have a great night. We'll see you next Friday, okay? You take care now.